A warm welcome to all of you. Uh, Please confirm if I'm audible and you can see the screen heading WWICS. Any team
Yes,
member
sir.
from
Yes, it's
WWICS?
audible, sir.
Sunny?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A very warm welcome and good afternoon to all the attendees today. Myself, Deepak Noria. I am working as Vice President with WWICS Group, looking after skilled immigration to Canada, to Australia. We have hold today's webinar on demand from especially this Pune city. We are doing webinars across India. We have started it in Punjab, followed by Delhi, then in Kolkata, and last time we did in Mumbai. But so many people have requested for Pune, and gradually we are covering other cities in coming times like Hyderabad, like Kochi, Jaipur, and likewise. So the motive, the aim for these webinars, these presentation is not just to educate people, but to make them familiar about immigration programs, about immigration processes, and the ways and means by which they can, get into permanent residency of these countries, which offers them a much better platform with high leverage, right? And it is not something very difficult to get. There are ways, there are means by which you can adapt yourself, you can qualify and can apply to get permanent residencies for the country of your choice. So that is the prime aim. Secondly, WWICS you have already seen in the corporate presentation. It's a well-established organization with the past track record of 27 years, and we have already successfully settled around 300,000 people in Canada, in Australia, in the last 2 decades. So now is your time. You have to take a decision, you have to take a call, and Team WWICS is all there to help you to file your cases in time, as well as for the processing and excellent results that we can ensure you. Let's begin with today's webinar. We are going to discuss primarily Canadian immigration processes today. And I really thank all the participants, all the attendees, those who have registered, those who have spared time for today's webinar. You all can hear and see this entire presentation through a video clip also post webinar. The link will be sent to you all. Secondly, I have shared a handbill. It's in the form of a handout. If you have logged in from your mobile or from your laptop, you can easily download it. On the mobile, it is showing on the upper right corner. If you just tap on your screen, you can see a square floppy kind of button on the top right of your screen. Just press it and you will get a small handbill which you can download, 3 pages handbill, which covers all the programs of Canadian immigration that I'm going to discuss today with you, with the appropriate links, and post webinar whom you can contact for your further assessment and taking up of the services. So let's begin with today's talk about immigration, about Canadian permanent residencies, and how COVID-19 has affected or likely to affect the applications which are in process or about to get visas or medicals, and what are your future prospects in Canada and what Canada has to offer aspiring immigrants. This is the man behind this entire setup, our chairman and managing director of the group, Lieutenant Colonel B.S. Sandhu. His mission is to provide hassle-free resettlement solution, not just immigration. Immigration is a part of your entire resettlement, because just taking a visa cannot ensure your resettlement. You need to understand what are the job prospects over there, how you're going to settle along with the family, what are the future avenues available in your profession or in your spouse profession and field. So that all is being covered by Team WWICS in the form of the resettlement services solutions that we provide to you all. The evolution of the group is not just limited to immigration. We are a well diversified group, and we have a position, we have a name in these different domains, which includes placement services, settlement services by the name Global Placement Services. In education sector, we have an institute called Continental Group of Institutes. Then we are there in hospitality by the name Forest Hill Golf and Country Club, followed by real estate by the name WWICS Estates, and in diagnostic, in medical field, we are known by the name of West End Diagnostic Imaging Centers in Toronto, Canada. This is a past track record of over 150,000 satisfied clients with extended family members. If we talk about, then more than 300,000 people have already settled happily in Canada, Australia, and other countries of their choices. More than 2 decades of successful track record, vast network of more than 18 offices in India. So you can contact any of the offices. Otherwise, the entire services, this entire setup is being planned by WWICS headquarters, which is in Mohali. And we have a team of online sales headed by Mr. Sunny Sharma, who is also the organizer of today's webinar. So his numbers are there in the handbill, his email ID is there in the handbill. So without even walking to any branch, without even contacting any person physically, maintaining social distancing in this tough pandemic situation of COVID-19, you can still manage to get counseling at your home through mobile, through WhatsApp, through Skype, through Zoom. So our team is entirely equipped and available to assist to help you all. So we have our network in India and overseas, 13 offices around the globe. One name to reckon, that is WWICS. Let's talk about how you can migrate, how to move, to your dream destination country. What are the channels? So the first channel is for skilled professional workers. If you have completed your education and you are working in your related field of education, like engineers, doctors, nurses, accountants, computer professionals, teachers, likewise, you are done with your education and you are working in your related field. These people are called skilled professional workers, and this is a direct way, direct path to get permanent residency of Canada, of Australia, without any kind of investment, number one. Number two, you need not to have any relatives. If you have relatives, then that would be an additional advantage. There is no requirement of any kind of job offer or sponsorship for these professionals, for these skilled workers. If you have a job offer or a sponsorship, again, that would be an additional advantage. But your case can be filed and processed without any kind of sponsorship too, subject to your eligibility. No particular or limited occupations in demand. That means all the professionals or the managers, all the supervisors even can apply and can get permanent residency as a skilled professional worker. Your status would be permanent resident. You will be getting PR of Canada or of Australia, and gradually you will be getting citizenship of these countries too. This is the first pathway, first channel. Second channel is for business people, for entrepreneurs, those who are working their own business, managing their own product or business or service. They are not employed, or even if they are employed, they are at the top managerial positions, like a director, like a CEO of a limited liability concern, who has powers to take decisions. So that kind of individuals, or a proprietor, or a partner, or a director, or an entrepreneur, having a substantial net worth, assets, wealth here in India, and wishes to invest some portion of their wealth in the country of their choice, for acquiring an existing business or to set up a new business. of their own choice. So by the way of investments, this set of people can acquire permanent residence. They will first get work permit, PRV, followed by permanent residency. There are options through which they can also get direct permanent residency in Canada or in other parts of the world too. So this second category also we cater to. We have a specialized wing for this citizenship by investment for this business people. So any one of you or your friends or relatives, if are interested to explore and to know more about these options, you can contact us and we will put you across to the appropriate person who can guide you, can provide you all the details of the available programs for business immigration by investment. Third category is for students. Those who are done with their matriculation or senior secondary or graduation or post-graduation, have work experience or does not have any kind of work experience and want to acquire international qualification further. They want to upgrade, they want to study abroad. So they can get admission and can move quickly, probably in 2 to 3 months' time, in the country of their choice. Almost all the countries, entire Europe is open, America is open, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, right? Many countries of the world are inviting students, and you can get good admissions in universities or colleges through which you can gradually, get the degrees or diplomas followed by work permit. And in certain cases, in some countries, you can say they also absorb the students or work permit holders as permanent residents too. So we cater to all these three prime segments through which one can move to the country of their choice and can settle there permanently. We have specialized people, we have special arrangements for students, for business people, for skilled professionals to understand their needs and also to give them the right kind of, you know, uh, pathway through which they can settle in the country of their choice. Apart from this, we specialize in pre-landing and post-landing services that we have already described in the separate video that you have seen. Immigration is not just stamping a visa. It requires a complete documentation process, right? And fulfilling the requirements of High Commission, if at all it arises at different stages of your case process. So these all pre-landing and post-landing, how you're going to settle, where you're going to put up, how you're getting a job, then followed by your licensing procedures, your children education, your opening of bank accounts, how you can manage your goods and other things to carry from India to the country, Canada or Australia. So all these things we cover and we provide these complementary services as a package to all our customers so that they should be happily resettled at the earliest in the country where they are landing as a permanent resident holder. Then we specialize in PRV, which we normally known as visitor visa or work permit. We specialize in that too. Family class cases, if someone is getting married, then those spousal cases, we help to file and to get visas. Appeals and judicial reviews, if you have any kind of rejection, but your documentation or your case is fair, probably we can help you to reverse that negative decision. We have a panel of experts, paralegal staff, IRCC members, barristers and solicitors at WWICS domain for all the countries, whether it is Canada, US, Europe, or New Zealand, Australia. So you will get specialized service in each and every country that you choose to apply. And all kind of resettlement and citizenship related matters, WWICS helps you to get the right kind of advice. This is the presence Globally, we are present in Toronto, Canada, in Sydney, Australia, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, UAE, in Kuwait, Bahrain, Muscat, Oman, Nairobi, Kenya, Doha, Qatar, and 14 offices in India. This is how our offices are distributed in the different geographical locations. So if your friends are there, just inform them. They can visit our office. They can take the appointments. As of now, the offices are not operational because of this pandemic of COVID-19. But it is likely to open very soon at headquarters in Mohali. We are completely providing all kind of services of this filing and processing of all cases. So so our clients are, very much elevated, very much confident that they are in the safer hands through the staff, through the communication, through the updations that we provide to them on day-to-day basis. Let's begin with Canada first. This is just a geographical map you all can see. This country is around 2.5 times bigger in size as compared to India. And the population base of Canada is less than 3% of India's population, hardly 3.7 million, and we have already crossed 130 crore. Comprises of 10 provinces and 3 territories. You can see the provinces. You can just follow this cursor, which you can see. This is the first province, British Columbia, on the extreme west. The capital is Vancouver, and followed by Alberta. This is the second province that you can see on your screen. Capital is Edmonton. Third is Saskatchewan, capital is Saskatoon. Fourth is Manitoba, capital is Winnipeg, and followed by Ontario, capital is Ottawa. Quebec, capital is Quebec City. Then New Brunswick, capital is Fredericton. Followed by Nova Scotia, capital is Halifax. Then Prince Edward Island, capital is Charlottetown. These are the 10 provinces and 3 territories right on the top: Yukon Territory, Northwest Territory, and Nunavut Territory. So these are the provinces, these are the territories of Canada. Majority of Canada population resides at this place, this border. This is United States of America right at the below. So entire Canada resides here. Majority, okay, on the border. This is just a statistical that I have just discussed with you. Employment rate is quite high. That is 92% currency is Canadian dollar. You all know why Canada, in this tough situation of coronavirus, this is the only country that has announced $75 billion grant to all its citizens, to all its permanent resident holders, as well as to the students, so that no one should feel that they have lost their jobs, they don't have money to, fulfill their needs, their food and drink. They should not be deprived of. Government is very vocal, very cooperative, and we have seen that in the recent past month and two. Not only this, they are very friendly towards immigrants. They are always welcoming new people, and in the entire this lockdown period, even Canada is working consistently for processing of their cases. Even the embassies were closed, visa processing units were closed, but the visa officer and other filing officers, they were constantly working, and they have tried their best to provide the solutions to all people who are in waiting to get their files processed. So Canada is quite open, and they have again given their requirement of how many people they are expecting to process after this COVID-19 is over, and is likely to over probably in a month's time. There would be a very huge number of applications that are expected to be filed and processed, and government is in the process of equipping their consulate offices, their embassies, how they can manage such a huge volume of applications, because they know people will apply and want to move at the earliest to Canada, and that is how they are also, upgrading their systems, upgrading their processes for quicker results. So be positive, be assured that Government of Canada is 100% aligned with the dreams of immigrants, and they will do their best to make you all feel safe and secure. This is how probably it's easier to comprehend. Nearly 350,000 people they require every year. They have shared this requirement in the year 2018 till 2021. Of recently, probably a month back, they have revised these requirements and have extended it to 2022 as well. So on an average, they need around 350,000 immigrants every year. It's a huge number. And China is the #1 source country in the world, but because of the current situation, it is expected that India would be the most happening and most immigrants would be sourced from this part of Asia, that is India. So be very positive, be very hopeful that you could be uh, in the batch of immigrants that are going to settle in Canada in the year 2020, 2021, or 2022. Let's begin the programs. Express Entry, you all know, started in the year 2015 January and has been successful in the past 5 years. Able to manage this entire process, government has, with a very effective control of number of immigrants entering that economy. Not only numbers, but also the people who are migrating to Canada are of the highest caliber and quality. How they are managing it, let's understand this entire process. Express entry, it's a federal process. Federal means anywhere in Canada you can land, you can work, you can get education except Quebec. So there is no restriction of any particular state or territory. So that is federal. So under this pathway, that is express entry, you should be eligible at least in one of the three programs of federal category. First program is federal skilled worker. This is your first eligibility check. If you're not eligible in one of the three federal programs, you cannot file in express entry. Okay. The first eligibility is whether you are qualifying in federal skilled worker program or federal skilled trade program or Canadian experience class. These three federal programs, system will automatically prompt some questions, and uh, registering your answers, they will notify you that you qualify or you don't qualify for express entry. Okay, moving to how it works. Upon testing of your eligibility, system will allow you to create your online profile, which is called express entry profile. This is not case filing. This is just an expression of interest, that is, you want to settle in Canada as a permanent resident along with family or as a single. You're just expressing your interest. That is why express entry, not case filing at all. Okay. Once your profile is accepted based on the eligibility of one of the three federal programs, your application will be moved to the express entry pool right here. This is a global pool of all the eligible applicants who express their interest to be in Canada. The moment you enter in this express entry pool, second eligibility factor, name CRS, Comprehensive Ranking System, will be applicable to this applicant's pool, and you will get a notification from CIC that this would be your comprehensive ranking score, CRS score, on a grade of 1200 points, out of which 600 points are reserved for a nomination, and remaining 600 points are to be determined based on your age, education, experience, language proficiency, your blood relative, your spouse education, your spouse work experience, your spouse communication, and other several combination factors that constitutes around 23 to 25 factors that will determine how much you score out of remaining 600 points, and it will be communicated by CIC to each and every applicant. Till now, case is not filed. You will get a notification only that this is your comprehensive ranking score. Now CIC conducts under the step 2, CIC conducts ITA, invitation to apply, that is a draw. They conduct draw at least 2 draws a month. It can be 3 also, right? And in these draws, one level of CRS is predetermined by CIC, and people who are falling ahead of that level are getting this invitation to apply. ITA, they will get a formal invitation that you are selected. Please proceed for your formal case filing. In a span of 90 days, you are required to file your application with all the documentary evidences, with all the forms, with all the visa processing fee charges within a span of 90 days. If you fail to file your case in 90 days, your ITA would be revoked, can be revoked, right? Normally it would be revoked, but in the current situation, you will get an extension for another 60 days because of the lockdown, because if you're not able to travel, because of any XYZ reason. In the current scenario of COVID-19, government has given certain relaxations so that none of the case should be rejected because of non-fulfillment of time requirements. So after getting ITA, you will file your case. This is the actual case filing stage. Once the case is filed, in 6 to 8 months' time, your medicals will be released, followed by your visa of permanent residency of Canada. This is how express entry process works. Important highlights are there is no occupation demand list. Every occupation, every professional is eligible. Every manager is eligible. Every supervisor is eligible. Not only this, there is no capping restrictions, number of doctors, numbers of nurses. Earlier it used to be after a certain attainment of a particular volume or number of cases, that occupation is capped. But in the current scenario, under express entry, there is no capping at all. So any number of doctors, any number of engineers, any number of computer professionals or accountants or teachers can apply. Basic program eligibility for all the programs, federal skilled worker trade program or Canadian experience class, or even provincial nominee program. We are going to discuss all these programs in detail. It remains same, right? So you need to fulfill the basic program eligibility, you need to fulfill the express entry eligibility, then only you can get your eligibility determined for Canada. Okay. This all things we have already covered. Most important aspect for creating a profile is IELTS and ECA, English language proficiency test, that can be determined by the score of IELTS or CELPIP, or there are other ways also through which you can get registered and can acquire the proficiency of language. We'll guide you about that. So IELTS is mandatory. You should be having a formal result card, which should not be older than 2 years. If you have completed IELTS 2 years earlier, before 2 years, last 2 years, then you cannot use it. It should be 2 years. It should be within the bracket of 2 years, last 2 years. ECA, you should be having ECA report while creation of your express entry profile. What is ECA? It's education credential assessment. You and me have obtained education outside Canada, so it is required to be determined with the Canadian standards, right? It can be equivalent to their masters, it can be equivalent to their PhD or their graduation or their diploma. So that equivalency report is called ECA. All right, there's a formal process of undertaking it against charges, against there are 7 authorities that can help you to get this ECA done. Okay, so IELTS and ECA are most important, without which your express entry profile cannot be created. Last but not the least, most important is no falsify information. If you provide anything verbally, orally, right? Okay, I have done my graduation in 1998. Okay, my 10+2 score percentage is 96%. Later on, when you check the documentation, it came out to be 1999 or the percentage is 91. It cannot be rectified. You have to delete your express entry profile. Even if your IT is released, it would be revoked. So make sure 200% while exchanging any information, it should be properly vetted by the documents. Provide the documentation along with, so that the officer can review all the details, because once the profile is created, you are bound with the information that you have provided to them. This is comprehensive ranking system, how it is, how the scores are determined. If you are single, there are separate calculations. If you are married, the calculations are different. There are many mobile applications, free online calculator tools available, but don't calculate the score yourself. It requires expertise to even determine how the scores are calculated. It's not simple 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. No, education level, experience factors, other factors also, combination of factors are there. So please take help of expert of guidance of WWICS and its team. Not only the staff, but we have a complete cell dedicated for assessment, technical assessment we name it. So they will interact with the applicant and get all the details, post which your CRS or your eligibility will be determined and it will be communicated to you directly. Okay. There are no recent updates on Express Entry. These are the older ones. Uh, I hope it is not that much important and relevant to discuss at this point of time. I'm giving you an outline only. Once you determine that yes, you want to go ahead, you can consult our counselors and they will provide you in-depth details of each and every program you are eligible. How WWIC helps the applicant? What is the role of team WWIC? The foremost and the most important aspect is to determine whether you are eligible or not. Okay, I'm scoring 67, I'm scoring 80. No, you can be qualified, you cannot be qualified. It depends upon your CRS also. Okay, I have filed for Express Entry. What are my chances for PNP? What is RNIP? What is AIPP? What is this? What is Manitoba? What is Saskatchewan? There are 10 provinces, 3 territories. Each province, each territory has 5 to 7 programs through which one can apply and can get permanent residency. So in total, there would be around more than 100 programs, pathways to apply and can get permanent residency of Canada. But which pathway is the best, whether you are eligible in that particular program or not? So that is how we determine your eligibility, by way of technical assessment. After getting the complete details, we provide you the accurate information as per the current times, which will determine your eligibility to apply for a particular program. Followed by, we'll guide you how to get ECA done, what is the formal procedure for that, okay, and which university gets positive from which institute. There is a dispute of various institutes going on. For example, XYZ university here in India declares negative by WES, but declares positive by ICAS or ICAS, right? IQAS. So we will get you to get positive results. Will determine that okay, it's better to get your assessment done from ICAS instead of WES to get a positive outcome of ECA. Then vetting of job duties, NOC, National Occupation Classification. This is the most relevant aspect of this entire communication process. Getting your NOC determined. What is NOC? NOC means every occupation in Canada is defined by proper job duties, by proper titles, by proper do's and don'ts. So to determine that, your case, your occupation should be in sync with that NOC. Only then visa officer or the filing person will understand that okay, you are falling in this category. Okay, so determining the right kind of job duties and NOC allocation as per Canadian standards is very important. It gives the right view and picture of about your profile to the visa officer or the processing officer. Then we provide services to update your, uploading of your Express Entry profile, assistance in applying jobs. Or, job bank site is there by Government of Canada. We upload your resume. We'll guide you how you can apply for various jobs that can eventually help you to gain good points if the Canadian employer possibly offers you a job. Then alternate assessments in other programs. Let's say you file for Express Entry, but you are unable to score good in IELTS, due to which you are not getting ITA. Then what are the alternate ways through which you can apply? Whether provincial nominee programs, or there is a new introduced program by the name RNIP that I'm going to discuss further. So we'll guide you whether you have chances of alternate assessment and positive outcome can be expected through those filing. Then these are the important services that WWICS caters you. And post this, your case, your filing, your documentation for the federal process or for the provincial nomination process are then filed. PR is normally approved after ITA in 6 to 8 months time, and GPS are global placement services. It will assist for your post landing services once you land in Canada. These are the draws of the current year 2020. The latest was on 11th of June with 437 CRS. This is for Canadian Experience Class. These draws are not for Federal Skilled Worker Program. 437 Canadian Experience Class, 743 Provincial Nominee Program, 440 again Canadian Experience Class, 757 PNP. These are all. None of the draws are undertaken since, I think, 4th of March. 4th of March, 470 points you can see, right? Post this date, all the draws were undertaken only for CEC, Canadian Experience Class, and provincial nominee programs linked with Federal Express Entry. We have already discussed targets. Okay, let's come to the programs now. I'll just quickly review some programs, and later you can put across your questions in the presentation. Also, there is a, you can share your questions. It will be recorded, it will be punched, and by the end of my talk I'll be answering all those questions. So don't forget to write your questions in the proper question answer column from your laptop or from your mobile, so that I can answer all your queries before we end this talk today. So coming to Federal Skilled Worker, this is the oldest program, most successful program. 67 is the eligibility out of possible 100 points. EC can be undertaken by this comparative education services, international credential assessment services, World Education Services, Medical Council of Canada, Pharmacy Examining of Canada. So we'll guide from which authority it should be done. Minimum language requirement for this program is CLB level 7, which means 6 bands in each module of IELTS. Spouse, the language given weightage in place of education, that is CLB level 4 if your spouse can clear IELTS with minimum 1 year of full-time experience under occupations level O, A, and B in the past 10 years is mandatory. Proof of funds as per the size of family, which is usually single, then you are required to show around 7.5 lakh rupees, and if you are married having children, it could go around 16 to 17 lakhs. Your money always remain with you, but you have to show that you are in possession of this money, and this is required at the time of case filing after ITA, not at the time of creation of your profile. All express entry cases, all federal skilled worker cases are processed under express entry. There is no bypass to that. Okay. One most important, you are scoring 67, then only you're eligible, but that doesn't mean you will get ITA. You are scoring, let's say, 80 points, no guarantee of ITA. This is just the first eligibility check. Be aware of that. This is the first eligibility, whether your profile can be created. Getting an ITA depends upon CRS. So DOL assessment should be done. Whether you are eligible for this program and what is your CRS. Your CRS will tell you what chances of getting ITA under the standard process without provincial nomination. Then second program is Federal Skilled Trade Program. This is for trade people, as the name suggests, like plumber, electrician, welder, mechanics, and their supervisor. There's a list of 90 occupations which are in demand. There is no point system in this category, in this particular program. IELTS requirement is also very, very low, CLB level 5 only in speaking and listening, and CLB level 4 in reading and writing. Minimum 2 years of experience in the past 5 years is mandatory. This is the program requirement. It is easy to meet. Then you should be having 1 year full-time job offer from a Canadian employer. Now, this is the limitation to this program. Getting a job offer, that too full-time, from a Canadian employer for at least 1 year is not easy. Okay, if you can manage, we do have employers, we do get job offers, but very limited numbers are those. Okay, but if you can manage that, excellent. Otherwise, if you don't have a job offer, then you should be having certificate of qualification. Very important. Normally people skip this part. Certificate of qualification in a particular skilled trade issued by the provincial or territory body. What does it mean? Let's say you are a plumber. You need to get a certificate of qualification as a plumber from the authorities like Red Sea in Canada. They will certify you as a journeyman plumber. Okay, that means you have passed their eligibility tests, their practical test, and now they have certified you to work as a plumber. So there is a formal process of undertaking this kind of certification. Once you get a certification, there is no need of any kind of job. You will simply apply and can get permanent residency directly with your family. And there is no formal education attached to this program, like no bachelor's or master's even is not required. Okay, just a trade certificate can be 6 months or 3 months diploma from Polytechnic or ITI or NCVT or like these national institutes. Okay, so no point system is there, and all federal skilled trade program cases are processed only under express entry. Third is Canadian experience class. It is for those who are there in Canada, either on open work permit or yet they have acquired a job offer based on which they are on the work permit in Canada. They have been working in Canada from past 1 year, at least 12 months full time, and they are able to get a full time job offer as well. Then they can apply under Canadian experience class while staying there in Canada, or even after coming back from Canada within 3 to 6 months they can apply. No point system is required, but a job offer should be in level A or B in Canada. Then only the case can be processed. So limitation is a job offer in this particular category. These are the top reasons that make country Canada the best country for immigrants. Let's explore this. Highly rated country by United Nations organization, high quality of life, safe and secure country, no racism, no discrimination, absolutely clean environment, a thriving economy. Canada is ranked 11th among the wealthiest countries in the world. So these are really amazing features why people are moving or choosing Canada to be their home country. A rapidly growing job market, the unemployment rate is lower than 10%. Government funded health systems, entire process, healthcare is all funded by government. Educational opportunities, world-class public transportation system, a welcoming and multicultural society. You will hardly find a native Canadian. All the people are immigrants only from various parts of the world, from different cities, from different religions. It's a multicultural society, a beautiful place to live in. Canada's natural beauty, impressive urban metropolis, access, and breathtaking skyscrapers make it one of the most beautiful countries in the world. These are the top 10 reasons. And before coming to provincial nominee programs, just this slide would be of much interest to you. Just the year 2020, in the month of May only, Ontario province has issued 703 invites to the immigrants, followed by British Columbia 362. Saskatchewan issued 252 invitations only in the month of May 2020. And fourth position, Manitoba 222. Alberta issued 191. Prince Edward Island issued 15 invitations through Canada's provincial nominee program. So that this slide shows uh, how much potential these provinces has, and how much active these programs are in gaining or in granting permanent residency to the applicants. There might be lockdown. Even in today's scenario, things are not very, very crystal clear. Things are still in a shabby look. We don't know how things are going to be in the future. But yes, Canada is welcoming even today through express entry, through provincial nominee program, through rural and northern immigration pilot program, through business immigration, through Canada's work permit or study permit. Everything we undertake at WWICS is the one-stop solution for all your needs. Coming to the provincial nominee programs, all these provinces that you can see on your screen, Alberta to Yukon, each province has one dedicated program which is aligned with Express Entry. Means what? It means if you apply for a nomination to these provinces based on their eligibility and you get a nomination certificate, then 600 points will be awarded to your existing CRS in the Express Entry pool. Whether your CRS is 100 points or 150 or 200, with the addition of 600 points, you'll be much ahead in the pool. And in the very next round of invitations or draw, you will get ID. So this is how the provincial nominee programs, they are more relaxed processes, requirements, eligibility criteria is easy to meet than federal one, because government has given them authority to determine their eligibility requirement so that they can also attract more and more immigrants. Otherwise, everyone landing in Canada wants to reside in Toronto or in Vancouver, but other states, other cities, other towns, they are not getting the adequate share. That is why they have relaxed their requirements so that they can also attract more and more immigrants to sustain their requirement of professional people. Fees we can skip as of now. Okay, coming to one of the programs which is not linked with Express Entry. So far we have discussed provincial nominee programs linked with Express Entry. What are the eligibility points? What are the eligibility criteria? As of now, all the provinces are open. There is no province which is closed. Number one. Number two is they have their own eligibility checks, right? In terms of point system or in terms of occupation. If your occupation is aligned with their demanded occupation stream, then you will get an invite. Okay. Some provinces are whom we can approach to file a nomination, and there are certain provinces who approaches or selects the profile from the express entry pool and offers them an invite to file a formal application for nomination. So this is the robust process, right? As a blanket, we can apply for 1, 2, 3, or 5 provinces, depending on the eligibility. And based on the outcome, based on the nomination you get from any of the province, your case can be taken further. Okay, but the condition is you should be having a active express entry profile. That is the must. Okay, coming to the programs which are not linked with express entry, provincial nominee programs. One of those programs is Saskatchewan Occupations and Demand. This is very favored program, very in demand process, you can say. Okay, there is a list of 129 occupations which are excluded. Okay, if excluded means your occupation should not be falling in these excluded list of occupations. Otherwise, remaining thousands of occupations can apply. There's a point system also requirement, 60 points you should be meeting, and they will issue invite to those whose score is 68 points. Okay, so high chances of getting invitation followed by permanent residency. No need of express entry or profile creation. Even with low IELTS, Saskatchewan occupations in demand can be a good choice to get PR. Then Canadian immigration under provincial nominee programs. One of such programs is Atlantic Immigrant Pilot Program, AIPP. Everyone calls us, sir, we want to apply. That consultant is charging this much, this consultant is charging this much. What are your charges? Wait, I say, let's understand what is AIPP. Okay, it's not something you're buying, you're paying money and you'll get PR. No way. Atlantic consists of 4 provinces. First is New Brunswick, second is Prince Edward Island, third is Nova Scotia, and fourth is Newfoundland and Labrador. These 4 provinces constitutes a program called Atlantic Immigrant Pilot Program. Pilot means this is a pilot run just to see how the outcomes is. But now it has been running successfully from past 2.5 years. How it works? See, these are the maritime provinces. Population is very low. Climatic conditions are very harsh. So the people who are residing there, they are either old one, because younger generation has already moved out to other destination cities or towns in Canada or US. So they are left with old or aged population looking very difficult to sustain and maintain themselves without help of external skilled workers. So government has come to their rescue. Getting a skilled worker from overseas for such jobs in these provinces is very tough proposition, because there is a survey conducted in Canada. Upon asking 1,000 people where would you like to land in Canada, 90% people say we would like to go to Toronto only. So no one has even heard the names Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Newfoundland and Labrador. So how to attract? Government has eased down the relaxation. Primarily, LMIA is required to get a person sponsored from overseas countries into Canada. They have done away with the requirement of IELTS under AIPP. What is required is approved designated employer. In these provinces, the employer is required to apply for a designated status. You can find list of approved designated employers in these provinces on the provincial website. So if such an employer who is designated by the authorities gives you a full-time job offer of 1 year at least, okay, 1 year full-time job offer followed by a settlement plan, and applies for endorsement with the provincial authorities under AIPP. This all needs to be done in Canada, in those particular provinces. Upon getting endorsement or approval letter, your case can be filed for permanent residence. We undertake these cases, but with very limited occupations, which are acute shortage in Atlantic provinces, including nursing aides and long-haul truck drivers, cooks, chefs, restaurant managers. These are the basic occupations which are always in demand in these provinces, and we have good number of employees. The requirement is only international qualified or experience holders can apply, not just locally. Okay. Then there is a program called Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program. If you have a relative, first relative, or a cousin, or a distant relative, or even a friend residing in this province called Manitoba, willing to grant you affidavit of support. Affidavit of support. The word is affidavit of support. No job offer, nothing, no this financial consideration. Simply affidavit of support that I am settled in this province as a citizen or as a resident, and this friend of mine or this relative of mine is very close to me and my family, and we will help them to settle this province like we have settled it. That's it. Such we will provide you the complete documentation how it's going to work. This is what is required from them. So after getting this, there's a point system attached to this. You are required to make 60 points. This province has its own express entry system. with 1000 points CRS, and you are required to meet 570 or 572 points in two different programs, then only you will get an ITA followed by PR. Okay, IELTS requirement is low, education is low, experience is low. Very good program, but the limitation is you should be having a relative or a friend who can support you in getting this affidavit from Manitoba. Quebec. Quebec is the largest province having a program by the name Quebec Skilled Worker. Again, point system. If you are single, minimum 50 points are required, and if married, then 59 points out of possible 116. Hundreds of occupations are in demand, but the limitation factor is French language. It's a French-speaking province. First official language is French. You are required to clear French with advanced intermediary level, which is B2. French has 6 levels of language. Every language has 6 levels. Even if it is the basic level, followed by A2, then B1, then B2, then C1, then C2. These are the 6 levels, where C2 is the highest proficiency. To claim French points, even if you require 1 point or 10 or 12, you need to clear with B2 level, not A1, not A2, not B1. So that B2 is called advanced intermediary. And if you can clear French language with B2 level, 12 points can be awarded. And in a span of 15 to 20 months, you will get PR. It has nothing to do with Federal Express entry. They have their own selection process. They have their own expression of interest through which the cases can be processed. And number of occupations are there which can easily be processed in Quebec. Last program that I'm going to discuss today is RNIP, Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. Again, a pilot. Again, a program designed by government to meet the local requirement of certain corporations, certain municipalities, you can say, small towns, so that they should be able to attract people. Okay, they have given these 11 communities. Communities means low populated areas having population of 75,000 people to 250,000 people. So the participating or approved communities are 5 in Ontario, starting with North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, Swansea, Murray, and Thunder Bay. In Manitoba, they have 2 communities, Brandon and Altona. In Saskatchewan, they have 1 community, Moose Jaw. Alberta has 1, Charles Home, and British Columbia has 2, Vernon and West Kootenay. Now, what is the requirement or eligibility? It is in 2 stages. There is dual eligibility. First eligibility is federal. Federal eligibility, once you are required to meet the federal eligibility, then you are required to meet the community's eligibility. So let's talk first about the federal eligibility. The first requirement is you should be having a recommendation from this designated community. That means approval to apply from the communities. How you will get the approval? I'll discuss that. This is the first requirement of federal. Second is have 1 year of qualifying experience in the past 3. Minimum 1 year experience in last 3 years is must. Third is should be having a genuine job of at least 1 year from these community employers. So job offer is there, job offer is mandatory. Fourth is at least ECA. 12 years of education is a must, so that you should be able to present an ECA report. Okay, so ECA is mandatory. IELTS is mandatory depending upon the occupation. If your occupation is professional level, O level and A level, then CLB level 6 is the IELTS requirement. If it is at NOC B level, then level 5 is required. And if it is at C and D level, then level 4 is required. Then other requirements are your intention to settle in that community. It should not be like, okay, you have entered there and then you move to Toronto or somewhere else. No way. You should be convincing the officer that you have genuine intention to settle in those communities for at least 2 years. Then you can move to other parts of the Canada. Then last is sufficient settlement, depending upon the size of the family. So these are the federal requirements. Now coming to the community's requirement. Each community has its own requirement. Some has a point system, others they don't have. Okay, how you can determine whether you can be eligible for a community or not? So it's a very complicated, very complex processes involved. We will help you to determine, or what we do is we apply for at least 3 to 5 communities in one go, right? Communities have separate portals. That means an online web portal is there for each community. Your profile will be created. That means sharing your details with the community's members, and then they will populate the list of occupations which are in demand in those communities, and each employer, whosoever is associated with that job, okay, you have to apply. We'll apply everything on your behalf. After application, the employer will be able to access all the details of your information, your resume and all, and they can contact you if you are found suitable. After the interview on Skype or telephonic call, they will issue you a job offer. This is how the process works. Once you get a job offer followed by settlement services, the employer applies for the recommendation of the community. Upon granting of recommendation, your case will be directly filed for permanent residency, and you can land in these communities in probably 6 months' time after getting this recommendation. Very fast program, very good program, new and flexible as well. For those who are unable to manage that 471 cutoff points, RNIP or provincial nominee program is the only option for you. We deal in Canada's work permit. Many occupations are there because we are fulfilling manpower requirement to different Canadian employers. So urgent openings are already there with our counselors, and if your occupation is matching with those requirements, details will be shared and provided, and a contract will be signed, and your interviews will be conducted by those Canadian employers. Once you are selected, your name can be added on the existing LMIA, or a fresh LMIA will be applied. Upon getting LMIA, your case for work permit can be filed easily, and WWICS has helped you to apply that. That's all for Canada in today's presentation that I want to discuss with you all. There are numerous programs. I have not discussed all the programs, but the programs that I have discussed so far, they are really the best. They are really the result-oriented programs, giving very positive outcomes. So if you still have any kind of doubt or apprehension or any question or query, we can be ready to answer that. Let me see if you have put in your questions. Yes, there are few questions that I can see. Sunny, can you read out the questions?
Sure, sir. I'll do that for you. Thank you so much. We have first question from Mr. Abhilash. He want to know, can you tell me about immigration for nurses and possibilities?
Immigration for nurses and possibilities. Okay, and nurses, it's not occupation specific. Okay, immigration is not occupation specific for Canada. Nurses can go, doctor cannot go, or accountant can go, teacher cannot go. No, it's not like that. Every occupation is in demand. Even nurses are in demand in Canada. You have to choose the right program for application. How we determine that? See, we'll calculate your CRS. The thumb rule is we'll calculate your CRS. If your CRS is above 450, we'll suggest you to go for express entry because this is the cheapest option, right? And the processing is very fast and very transparent. But if your score is below 400 or 400 to 450, we'll suggest you provincial nominee programs because certain provinces, they require nurses and they pick up nurses from the express entry pool, even if the score is less than 450. Third option, if your score is further less than 400 points, then we will suggest you to apply for Saskatchewan occupations in demand or RNI. This is how it works. So it all depends upon your credits, your score. That's how the program eligibility can be determined. Yes, Ani.
Thank you, sir. Second question which we have, that is from Mr. Bipin Sawant. He want to know what is the maximum age for applying and the chances of getting ITA.
Okay. Maximum age. There is no upper age limit to apply. Like in case of Australia, if you crossed 45 years, right, you cannot apply for permanent residency under skilled category. But in Canada, there is no upper age limit. Ideal age bracket is 25 to 32 years. That is the ideal age bracket. You'll get maximum points if you fall in this bracket. After which, with every passing year, your score will be dropped. You will get less points for your age. Okay. Till the time you are meeting the eligibility of threshold of points, you are good to apply. No problem in that. But for business people, they have given more relaxation. Even 60 years, 65 years, people can apply and can get permanent residency in Canada.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have a next question that is by Mr. Suhas. He's saying he has the IELTS score around 5.5. Can he still apply in express entry?
Under express entry, no, you cannot apply with 5.5 bands in federal skilled worker. No, you cannot apply. But if your occupation is under the trade category, like I have told, 90 occupation, welder, electrician, plumber, carpenter, or their supervisors like that, probably under federal skilled worker program, you can apply if you have a job offer or certificate of qualification. Otherwise, with 5.5 bands, I would suggest you to either go for Saskatchewan Occupations in Demand or RNI. That's the best programs which can help you to gain permanent residence.
Okay, thank you, sir. The last question which we have, that is from Mr. Lalit Bhardwaj. He's asking how much work experience required for PR under any program.
For PR, thumb rule is minimum 1 year experience in past 10 years. That is for federal skilled worker. Again, program specific, if I talk about under trade program, you require 2 years experience in past 5 years. Then under RNIP, if I talk about, you need at least 1 year experience in past 3 years, like this. So program to program, your requirement of experience varies, but that is for sure. More the experience, more points you will get. And if your experience is less than a year, you will not be qualifying for permanent residency in any of the programs.
Thank you, sir. That's all the question which we which I have got from the audience, and that's it, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, Sunny, thank you very much. And those who have joined late, again, I will just repeat, this webinar is for you guys. You are more than welcome to ask for any query. We have shared a handle. You can download it from your laptop or from your computer or from your mobile. It contains all the information that we have discussed in today's talk, as well as contact details of the person whom you can contact further for your assessment and retention purposes. A video of this entire talk would be available and the link will be sent to you tomorrow. You can view it again, you can clarify in writing also, you can write to me. I'll try to provide you all the answers if still you have any query left in them. All right. Thank you very much for your participation, for your persistence in staying, and be with us, be with WWICS. We assure you to provide the best of consultancy, the best of guidance as per the prevailing immigration laws, and you will really cherish the moment you have taken a decision, a call to get application done for Canada or for Australia or for any other country. Under any of the program, WWICS is there to help you. So the team is well trained, well educated, and available at your doorstep in this current COVID-19 situation. I wish you best of health and best of mental peace as well, happiness for you, for your loved ones. And stay in touch, rely on WWICS, will help you to fulfill your dreams, and you will certainly land in the country of your choice. Thank you for being with me. Stay blessed. Thank you.